All right, another quick down and dirty video. So you're probably going to hear some noise in the background with the wind rushing around. But hey, I didn't want to go upstairs and get my audio equipment for this because I wasn't even planning to do a video today. But as always, just trying to throw ideas out there to help improve your life and allow you the ability to do what you want to do with your truck. I got this little thin wireless charger. It's not a fast charger, but it's a wireless charger. My 2017 Dodge Ram has this nifty little thing here, and if you've watched my videos, you see how I bring cables in here to charge phones, but it doesn't give you the ability for a wireless charger. I thought about trying to retrofit something behind here, but that's going to be pretty tough to do to get it back behind there, and the problem is this rubber right here is too thick and it doesn't really charge the phone. Now, I could put this in the bottom of that, like that. I could put it over here where you can just set a phone in there, but I think what I'm going to do is put it in this space here. Now, I've already replaced the cables, but you can see taking this cover off, and then that one down here, there's a bolt there, 2 bolts here takes this out, but I'm going to sneak this guy down in here to where it'll eventually rest inside of my little holder here, the rubber insert that comes out. When that does, it's going to fit in there flat, and it's going to give me great access for wireless charging. And you know, again, it's not fast charging, but hey, what if I have a device that I don't care when it gets done charging and I'm on a long haul and I just want to throw it in there? Typically keep napkins in there, things like that, because what else the hell are you going to put in there? But it'll fit in there nicely. I'll probably create a little hole for that to get in through a little slit, and then I'll tuck it down into this little slot back there so that I can plug it into a 12-volt source that I've created in here. Watch my other video, it shows you how to do that. Now, block that out because this came from a company. I don't want to throw their name out there, but if people ask, you could probably research that little number there, get a hold of that company, find out how you can get one of these little wireless charging pads. But this dude fits in that particular slot perfectly. Again, I'm going to rely mostly on my wired chargers because I have a QC or QI, whatever the hell they call it, fast charger in the back, so that I can do my navigation and my music. Yes, I have nav on this car, but I'm not paying $130 every year to update a map that doesn't tell me traffic patterns. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong on that, I don't know. But that's what we're going to do. I will show the finished product when we're done. You won't even know that's in there. I'm undecided if I'm going to set it on top of this, which I'll probably do because it's pretty thick rubber, and when you have a phone case, it won't always go through and give you what you want or desire the outcome that you want. And I'll hold it in place here with some sticky pads, some 3M sticky pads, and that way that little wireless pad doesn't move forward on me. So that's an easy way you can add wireless charging to your vehicle and have it concealed to where you don't disrupt the way the vehicle looks and all of that. So we'll get back to you in a bit. Thank you. Alright, so here's my finished product. I've got that little key fob just to protect the name of the people that gave that to me. Little charging pad is down in there. That will fit a full-size Note, the latest Note 20, Note 22, whatever Samsung's got out. But my phone will charge in there, and I won't see that. This one's actually nice. It's kind of got a cloth material to it. It'll be covered by napkins most of the time, but if I ever want to drop a device in there, I can wirelessly charge it and not have to worry about plugging it in. Replace my plugs. These can get tucked, pushed back into that hole when not in use, things like that. But then that allows them to come in from the bottom and charge the phone without having to be plugged in here with an adapter and then a bunch of coiled up wires in there. So clean install. That's what it looks like as a finished product. So hopefully that helps somebody and they can put wireless charging in their truck if they want. Alright, so let's get into what I'm doing here now. Dodge did not put any USB charging ports back here, and I have kids. We go on camping trips, things like that. And right now, they're sharing this single 12-volt cigarette adapter to charge in their phones, and it gets knocked around, all of that crap. So I'm going to put in some USB charging ports back here. To take this back panel off, use your fingers, no tools required. Just grab it from the bottom, gently pry on each side. You're going to see some slots where the compression fittings go in to hold that in. When you take it off, These plugs are real easy to take off. These are my seat warmers. But this center plug, the black one right there, that's my 12-volt source off the cigarette adapter that's already here. I'm going to plug that into what I've already done here, and to show you, I didn't want to install the other one, but I drilled a hole. It's about a 32 millimeter hole. It only needs to be about 30 millimeters. The plug on the right is the new USB charging port that I'm installing. So there will be one for each side, so kids will no longer be fighting over it. I thought about putting 120 volts back here, AC. Rethinking that, I don't want my kids leaving stuff plugged in with 120 volts running through the car, because you can still get shocked, you can get hit with that. So I want to keep it up front where it's controlled by me. Sorry, one-handed here. This little plug, and I'll put some in the description to give you that link to that as well. But that's what it looks like. It's going to have the USB-C Type C, I think the newest version, which is a power port as well, and a QC30. And as you can see, once it's closed up and protected, not in use, grab it here, sorry, one-handed, looks going to look really good. Make sure those things are lined up as best as you can, so that way it doesn't look whoppered y'all and you don't like the install. When that goes in, that plate's going to sit there, and you know, they're going to have their cigarette adapter if they're still running thing, but they're going to be able to charge their phones or any other device as well coming back here. So from the back side, that's what it looks like. It's round, speaks for itself. Copper is positive, silver is your negative. And then I put a little bit of Loctite in there to hold that thing tight, because you know kids, they're just going to plug things in and not worry about the condition of it. But if I ever have to access this, it's real easy to take off. Now, my adapters, obviously you want to use a fuse link. This is an old one, sorry, it's kind of dirty, but hey, it's going to be hidden, so I don't care. Make sure you put a fusible link in there. And I made up a spade connector type setup, because I have other accessories I'm going to run off of this. That way, anything that I have, like I have a light bar on the back for emergency situations that I can turn on, I need to plug it in, leave it plugged in to where it doesn't have the cigarette adapter coming out and keeps getting kicked and things like that by everybody. So I'll show you the finished product when we get it in. I did not order a second one of these because I was on the fence if I was going to put two on there or not. Yeah, you can see my pry marks, thinking this thing just popped out, so don't pry that, because this is bolted from the inside. Again, I'll tear my shit up so you don't have to, and hence why I make these videos, for people to know what they're doing getting into this stuff before they do it on their own, tear up their car. You know, these trucks aren't cheap. This thing was quite expensive, almost paid off, and you want to keep it as nice as possible. But that's going to look really good when I'm done. It's going to be what Dodge forgot to put in. You know, they have your heater controls, your cigarette lighter, your vents and all that for creature comforts in the back, but they didn't put these in there, and that's going to be a nice addition to this truck. So coming off of my cigarette adapter, I peeled the cable or the tape back carefully. As with all car manufacturers, they're going to start taping here and then go down, so it's not easy to find a little tab to get a hold of. Just be careful when you're stripping it out. Your purple wire, actually blue with a pink stripe, or magenta, whatever color you want to call that, is your positive. Black is going to be your negative, so make sure you hook up your polarity correctly, because that is going to matter when it comes to powering devices up. I recommend, you know, in the case that I'm using those USB adapters, they have the little plug-in connectors. These are crimped on properly. Get in focus. Crimped on properly, and then I put a little dab of solder in there to make sure these connectors will never come loose, because they can vibrate loose, and that's a good thing there, just to protect yourself. The other is, when I get done with this, everything's going to be soldered up properly. Everything will be heat shrinked properly. I do not recommend butt splices, but if you have a decent crimper and you want to do that and wrap it in tape, to each their own. But I solder everything that I do to make sure that I have no issues down the road. Plus, again, these are expensive rides, and you don't want to do a hack job when it comes to doing this. So make sure you have everything you need to do this project, so you leave nothing to be done later. I call them round to it, so they never get done. Alright, so that's the finished look, minus the extra adapter that I got to fill this hole with. I didn't know how the install was going to look, if I was going to need one or two, but I'm going to go ahead and order the other. Kind of a cool feature about this one is it does tell me what my voltage of my battery is. And if you're not going to drive your car very long, get one without that. But I thought it'd at least be pretty cool to see that. But this hole will be populated here. But that's the finished look of it, and it looks like it was meant to be there and not an afterthought now. So we're going to wrap this project up. If I can say anything to anybody, use solder, use heat shrink, take your time, do it right, get all the parts pieces you're going to need. That way you're not in a rush, you don't leave anything unfinished that you never get back around to completing. So that is it. When I get the other one in there, that's going to look pretty cool. I do use heat shrink, and I wrap it in electrical tape just to be extra careful to make sure I don't get any fraying or any bare wires down the road. So pretty cool little add-on that I thought about doing, since the kids are always running a cable either into that cigarette plug and then they're fighting over who gets it, or I have to use a dual plug where there's always a cable popping up there to that AC port, and I don't want that as well. So when I'm done, I am going to add additional circuits in this lower left hand corner for some other devices that I have, so that way it gets all tucked back in there and behind that cover looks good. I'll still leave the cigarette adapters on each end in case I have to disconnect anything for any reason. It's fused link and all is good, everything works, so we're off to the races on this one. Alright, so here is a finished product of what I have when I did my USB ports. The blue light you see is telling me how many volts I have. Let me take that off there. But wasn't a bad job at all. Again, this little cover comes off right here. You pull on each corner from the bottom and it comes off. No tools required. You'll unplug this center cigarette adapter and the two heat are the seat warmers, and then drill your hole to mount your round USB ports in there. I recommend round because you can use a hole saw and it's a lot easier than trying to cut a perfect square. So that's what it looks like when the kids come in, or whoever sits back here. Flip the cover up, they're going to have a USB-C, the brand new type, which is powered, and a QC version as well, and then these protective covers on there. I did not add this in there because that is my emergency light when I'm hauling anything or helping anyone out of a ditch, things I guess I need access to those switches. There is another accessory here that I have on the side. All the wiring is actually coming from inside here because I have additional cigarette style adapters behind there as well. So now everything's tucked up underneath there. My power supplies or connections, the USB connectors for power to those, and also a control module for a cutoff valve for the exhaust. So all is good. This is a wrap, and as you can see, it looks like it was part of the car when they made it, so that way it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. And it is an afterthought, but something that Dodge should have considered and put in. I've got older Kias, bottom of the line Kias that I've had that have more accessories than some of the Dodge puts in some of these things. Not that they do a bad job, they just overlook a few things. So any questions, feel free. Comments, any tips that you come across, please share and leave it as a comment so other people can learn. And that's what this channel is for. Thanks for watching.